whoever is around. Welcome to my YouTube live. This is still very new to me, and so please forgive me for any clumsiness. But anyway, for those who don't know me, I'm a therapist and a coach, and I decided to come here on YouTube live every week on Saturdays. Today is Saturday, the 8th of February, it's 6 p.m. GMT. And basically what I do, I offer my presence, my help, my knowledge, my experience to help anyone who wants to ask me anything to do with mental health, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, human behavior, human psychology, human relationships, and even a dash of spirituality if you're into such things. Anything to do with the mind and anything about how we can enhance any aspect of our lives from those places. And so let me have a quick look and see if it's working. I'm still not sure about how this goes. Where am I? Live. For some reason, it's not showing up. There's probably a delay. And I don't see anyone just yet. For those who are wondering about my outfit, I've just been to the gym, and so this is me coming out of the gym, and just being me, showing you that it's working. Just being me and basically making sure that I'm here no matter what happens through my schedule. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to talk about some posts that I've put out on TikTok. I spent a lot of time there, and I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, forget about this. Sorry about that. Let me get started. I'm going to talk about some posts that I put out on TikTok, and hopefully that will get the flow started. I put some short videos out on TikTok and YouTube every day, so three of them each day. And I do plan to do some long form content more on YouTube as soon as I have the time. But January is quite a busy month for me as a therapist because a lot of people have been waiting for January to have a strong start to the year to address their baggage and blocks. And so the first post that I put out on TikTok today goes like this. Spiritual narcissism is the idea that people who are spiritual are superior to the people who are not. And basically this is to highlight how a lot of people talk about spirituality and they are trying to get everyone to understand and to basically to believe the same things as them. If they don't realize that spirituality is a very personal adventure. It's not something that we can force or direct anyone to get. People get there when and if they're ready. And if people believe that they're better than others, this is actually the opposite of experiencing a spiritual awakening, because this is the ego trying to remind themselves and others that they are better because they are spiritual. And if anything, the first step of a spiritual awakening is to realize that we have an ego and that we're all the same and we're all limited and controlled by our ego. And so freeing ourselves from the perspective of the ego is the first step of a spiritual awakening journey. And so yeah, and so if you are going through a spiritual awakening journey, it's great, it's fantastic. I love this. It's sort of things that I'm thinking about a lot as well. However, because you are going through that, make sure that you are not thinking that people who don't know what you now know are somehow inferior. They're not. We're all going through a different journey, and it's all good. Okay. The next post that I put out goes like this. Hurting people back will not heal your pain. Hating others will not make you hate yourself less. The only way to heal from hurt is to use a different energy than that of hurt. And so this is very explicit and quite simple and straightforward to understand. If you want to heal, being angry, being resentful will not make anything better because you are still utilizing the same energy that hurt you in the first place. And so we can talk about this. If any of you have any problems with that, just ask me. We can talk about compassion, self-compassion, forgiveness, all of those things, which are quite important skills to have. But it's important to realize that all of those things are skills. And so no one is born with the ability to do those things easily. We are dealing with our own baggage. Whatever happened to us in childhood, we carry with us. And so there are all new skills for many of us to learn. Acceptance, compassion, empathy, kindness, all those things, gratitude, and forgiveness. Finally, the last post is also about healing, and it goes like this. Healing is not a reset. It is an evolution. Healing is not fixing the past. It is growing out of it. And most of all, healing is nothing that you can predict or estimate. It is the discovery of the person that you are always meant to be. And so this is to highlight that we are constantly growing and changing and evolving. We are in this adventure called life to discover who we are in this life as a human being, as a self. And healing is not fixing something that was wrong. It's just that we have had to experience some stuff at the start of our life, and healing is just the next step of our evolution. So we're going to find out why we had all those things happening to us, how we can grow out of it, how we become a happier and more peaceful person as a result of this. And so we don't reset, we don't restart, we don't deal with a problem. Whatever happened to you, whatever trauma you've been through, they are to be addressed like trauma, but if we can zoom out, once we have done the work together, we can realize that it was always a part of our journey. It's a part of our story. It's part of our adventure. But for us to be able to accept this, we need to heal from it, obviously. As long as we're still hurting from our past, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, that was my point. So now I can see that there are some people online. That's great. I'm going to get started and hopefully get some questions from you guys. Anything you want to ask me, just do. Okay, David Vickers. Good evening, sir, from England. Good evening to you. I am doing that broadcast from London, UK, as well. Mihailo Milutinovic. Hello from Australia. Hello, Mihailo. Kate, hi Didi. Hello, Kate. How are you doing? So just so you know, also I've been to the gym just now. So I drank gallons of water. So I will most probably, and I apologize for this, but this is me being transparent and coming here regardless of what is happening in my days. But I will probably have 1 or 2 bathroom break throughout the live. I'm going to stay here maybe a couple of hours, depending on the interaction with you guys and how the flow goes. United Fan 123. Hi from England. Hello. I'm doing this from England just as well. How are you? I'm very well indeed. Thank you so much. Is there anything, guys, that you would like me to talk about in regards to depression, anxiety, addiction, self-sabotage, anger issues, procrastination, low self-esteem, I don't know, relationships, anything that you like me to address so that I can help you directly. I do my best to always give some information that are hopefully actionable for some of you. Where are you from? I was born in Paris a long time ago, Paris, France, and my genes are Chinese. My parents are from Hong Kong and China, and I've been living in London in the UK for 27 years now. So there you go. International man of mystery. Someone called Xeka. So I can't read that. It's a different writing. So I don't know if it's I don't know. Is there a translator? I'm sorry, but there's not a translation option, I'm afraid. So Xeka, I can't understand what you say. On TikTok, there's a little option that can translate, so I can get by for people who don't speak English. But I'm sorry. Hopefully, you can find a way to either translate it and understand what I'm saying. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. I hate to say. Let me talk about something else. Until I've got questions, I can read you some more posts that I put out through the week. There's one that goes like this. Your brain is not interested by the truth. Your brain is biased and designed to seek information that validate what you already believe about the world. Unless, of course, you have learned the powerful skill of critical thinking. And so this is to basically get people to realize, because most of us, we don't realize that we are super biased. Our brain is designed to continue a program that we have put into place in childhood. And most of the reality that we experience are actually chosen by how we feel about ourselves based on whatever happened to us, whatever we have learned, and whatever we have observed through our childhood. And so given the choices of 2 types of information, We don't care about what is true or not. Whatever feels true for us will be where we go. And what does it mean? Why some things would feel truer than us first than others? Because it feels familiar. We're designed to be attracted by what feels familiar, what feels safe, what we know already. Regardless of what it says. We are creatures of emotions before we are creatures of thought. And so it's very important to realize this. And that's why, unless we learn about critical thinking, whatever feels familiar to us will come across as more true than the alternative. This is why, for instance, we can understand and see how in America someone like Donald Trump has been elected. Because he feels like someone that people are familiar with. They feel that person is like them, or at least that person speaks the truth. That person has got no filters, and so they can trust someone like that. And so, yes, a little insight on human psychology, and this is for all of us, right? When I put that post out, some people said it's true for most people, but not everyone, and it is for all of us. Now, nothing in the universe is absolute, so there's always exceptions because there's so many parameters into place for everyone at any given time. But it is true that we are limited by our belief system, and our beliefs are subconscious and emotional. And there's nothing that we experience that don't go through those filters. And so, for instance, this is a belief, right? And through that belief, I'm going to experience something. I am not aware of the belief. I'm aware of the experience that the belief is giving me. And the experience that I'm talking about is an emotional experience before it is cognitive. So we feel something first, and then after that, our brain is going to come up with a narrative to back up how we feel about ourselves. I hope it makes sense. I've explained cognitive bias. That explains all the subconscious emotional bias we have about everything, including information, right? And I can give an example. If you go on Google, on the internet, and you seek, for instance, why are cats better than dogs? You will have a whole list on the first page of all the reasons as to why cats are better than dogs. But if you type, why are dogs better than cats? Now suddenly the whole page changes, and you have a whole list as to why dogs are better than cats. And so the mind is similar to that. It's an algorithm. And whatever that you focus on, whichever direction you focus on, it will give you more of. However, whatever that we focus on is determined by the subconscious belief, emotional belief that we have about everything, about ourselves in the world, about everything that we can observe and experience. So there you go. I hope it makes sense. Let's see if there's any question that I can get started with. Kate, I am in the UK as well, live near Birmingham. Fantastic. We're in the same country. Great. Kevi, hi, good to see you live. Thank you so much, Kevi. Kate, I wanted to ask, how would someone know whether they have borderline personality disorder? I know people have mentioned that I could potentially have that, but I don't know how to get a diagnosis. So the first step for that, and I'm going to do this, is to go online and check out if you have the main traits about it. So we're not seeking a diagnosis online. We're trying to learn more about it and see if there are some connection between your own experience and the things that we talk about. And so I have borderline personality disorder myself. It took me a long while to realize this, but any label such as bipolar, ADHD, borderline, or anything like that is not just one thing. It is a collection. It is a bundle of a lot of different things, little boxes that needs to be ticked. Now, between one label to another one, there's a lot of overlaps. That's why it can be very confusing. A lot of people get misdiagnosed because it takes a lot of information to really understand if someone has this or that, or both, or more. There's also the fact that we can often have comorbidities, so more than one condition at a time. Like me, I've got many of them. And so that makes it more complicated. But if I'm going to the NHS website, overview of the borderline personality disorder. Let's read this together. So, the symptoms of BPD can be grouped into 4 main areas. Number 1, emotional instability. Number 2, disturbed patterns of thinking or perception. Number 3, impulse behavior. And number 4, intense but unstable relationship with others. So, borderline personality disorder is a personality disorder. So, it's not something that happens just like that. It's connected to what you think. It's connected to your personality, how you see yourself, and basically the way that you see yourself will determine how you see the world. Right? The world only exists based on the perception of the observer. There's no such thing as one universal truth for everyone to experience at the same time. We all have a different experience of each moment from our perspective, from our standpoint, with our set of filters and belief. And so with BPD, we have a lot of those. We are not able to read a room. We're not able to read a person. We're not able to interpret what they say in the way they were meant to tell it. We have some sort of paranoia because of the trauma we've been through, and so we're going to react emotionally very strongly to things that are quite regular for anyone else, because we have those filters that are there to protect us and constantly reminding us that we've been hurt in the past, and now we must stay protected from the bad guys or from the bad situations. And so with BPD, the main thing is that there's a lot of emotional regulation based on what you think with your relationships. It's all to do with people. And someone who has BPD, we typically have had a lot of problems with our relationships all their life. And it's often, if not always, born from some sort of trauma. And again, I'm talking about what I know as a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I am not a psychotherapist. This is based on my experience, the things that I read, the things that I use with my clients. And so this is why I'm doing what I suggest. I'm going online. I learn always, constantly about new things all the time. And it's very important to make sure that we have enough of a lot of different information so that we can make up our mind. Right? We don't want to take to take word to word a random person on TikTok just because they seem like they're okay, because there are all sorts of people doing all sorts of things for all sorts of different reasons. And so with the social media, this happens. On TikTok, there's a lot of people who are very good when it comes to mental health. But there's also a lot of people who haven't got a clue, and they just want to have some views, and they think that it's a good idea for them to, preach stuff that actually are not true. But this is people, it's not the social media. And so yes, borderline personality, if I'm going to go down further on that website, causes of BPD. Combination of genetics and environmental factors. So everything is a combination of genetics and environmental factors. Now, sometimes the environmental factors can be so harsh that it will create some changes. And our brain is always designed to adapt to whatever what we're going through. However, with the genetics, we have a predisposition for certain things. And so what it means is that when there's a traumatic event happening, whatever that it is, there will be two types of people. People who will be traumatized straight away because they have a predisposition for it. And those who will potentially actually not be affected so bad, and they can actually resume their life somehow over time. The difference will be based on what they call genetics. But for me, it's more about this. It's not just genetics, it's also whatever you have experienced from the moment you existed on this planet. And so not only when you're a child, whatever first 7 years you spent with your caregivers, but also when you're in the womb, information are starting to already be downloaded as we are a fetus in the womb. I think within 2 or 3 months, there are already some activities through RTT, which is the tool that I use with my clients, we do regression, and many of them found out that they can remember how it felt to be in the womb, and some of the problems actually occurred and started from there, right? And so environmental or genetics, there's an overlaps, and yeah, it's never just this or that. And this is pretty much what I really push for people to get, is that nothing in the world is ever just this or that. Everything is always a collection of many parameters being aligned at this particular moment to create that situation. Right? And so if we can zoom out and expand and understand the bigger picture, this is how we can heal or grow or do anything about ourselves if we want to change some aspects of ourselves. Yeah, hope it makes sense. But because we are so being conditioned to believe that this is this or that, we're looking for the magic pill all the time. And because of that, we are struggling to heal or to grow because we don't realize that it's never just one thing. It's always many things. And the more we understand the bigger picture, the more we're able to change whatever we want to change about ourselves. And so, yes, let me read it down. Does it help? Go on those pages, different places, and learn about what are the typical symptoms, reactions, that people who have BPD display. And if you feel that, this is me, oh, this is me as well, oh, that as well, and you realize, that's quite a lot, then you may actually well be on that, under that spectrum. But it's very important to get yourself diagnosed. So I know that it's not easy to get an official diagnosis, but the best you can do is to see your GP if you're in the UK and get on the waiting list. It may take 3 years, but this is what it is, unless you have the financial means to go private and to do it straight away. Other than that, you can do this. But in the meantime, you can still read up on it. You can read a lot of books. You can learn about the mind. You can follow a lot of people who are talking about it and see which ones resonate with you. And then learn about you through them. I hope it helps. Does it? Josh, hey man, hello Josh. Kavi Arasu, how can I escape from my judgment about myself? Always judging myself while talking to others. Okay, so we all do this at least at the start of our life because our mind is designed to always keep some conversation going. And if we have been judged when we were a child, we're going to keep that habit of judging ourselves. So basically, the voice that you have in your head is not your voice. It's just a program from the past that keeps on repeating. And it is the voice of your parents, the voice of your teachers, the voice of your buddies, the voice of anyone that you look up to, back then. And their voice has stayed there. And basically, if you have been judged a lot, if you've been told that you are not good enough, that you had to try harder, that you could only deserve love if you made them proud or something like that, then you're going to create a sense of self that's going to believe that I cannot be safe or can't be loved or accepted unless I do those things. And so the purpose of that voice is to remind you of this all the time. And so what you want to do is to realize that that voice is not you. The things that you tell yourself is just what they used to tell you, and you don't have to do that anymore. You can learn how to, little by little, as a new skill, develop a positive self-talk, a kind self-talk, a compassionate self-talk. You want to learn how to talk to yourself the way you wished you'd been talked to when you were a child. You wished to have someone who was always kind and protective and supportive and understanding and patient. And so you have to become that person. You can do it gradually again, but learn how to catch yourself. Whenever you talk to yourself, I'm not good enough. I'm such an idiot. I look rubbish. Or we do that all the time because this is what we've been taught. And also, as we grow up, we observe the world, and most people are like that as well. And so, if everyone is like that, we're going to think it's normal. And if we believe that something is normal, we're not going to even question it. And it's normal. There's nothing we can do about it. So we need to accept this. We need to keep on repeating this in our mind. And because the brain is plastic by nature, then what it means is that the more we do something, the more it reinforces over time. And so the more we do this, the more it is going to be there consistently and constantly. Now, the good news is that we can always learn how to create new habits, including habits of thoughts and habits of emotions over time. It's possible. And so, yes, this is what we want to do. Does it help, Kavi? Caroline, hello, Didi. Hope you had a good Saturday. Yes, I had a fantastic Saturday. Thank you for asking. It was very chilled. It was all about me. I went to the gym. I'm chilling. I'm happy with myself. I'm interested to know more about projection. I remember you asking me about this, and I haven't had a chance to do a long video for you. I did promise you, and I will, but I'm just so busy. Okay, I can talk about it. People who have trauma and does not know any better do that. We all project. It's not just people who have trauma. We all project, and I will explain. But I have trauma, and I don't do that. It feels like it's a choice. I don't want others to hurt because I had trauma. So it feels like it is a choice for people who do say mean things when they do that. They would know what it is mean words, but choose to do it anyway. Okay. Why do they not care if they hurt others? Okay. So let's talk about this. Projection is basically seeing in others the things that we have inside of us that we don't like. And so we may not be aware of those things because they are shameful things. They are what we call our shadow part. So they're in the shadow. We keep them away from the part where we're conscious of what is happening about us. And so, for instance, if someone is like, I don't know, if someone, the way we're going to judge people are going to be a projection of the things that we have inside of us. And so if someone did a mistake, if they did something that I feel I don't want, how can I say that? Let me give another example. Okay, some people fat shame others. And they're saying, oh, those people who are overweight, they're disgusting, they're lazy, they're not trying hard enough, they're costing a lot of money to the NHS and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they're judging them, and they're being very mean, and they don't have any much compassion or empathy for them. That's because inside of them, they would hate the idea of being overweight because they believe that if I'm overweight, people are going to treat me like this. And so now they're projecting that on others, and they're being horrible to them to essentially tell people, look at me, I'm not like that. They are bad, I am good, to keep themselves safe. So it's a little bit of a convoluted way to explain projections. But there's a lot of different ways we can project. But this is one thing that came into my mind. And so when we project, we see in others some aspect of us, some fears, some insecurities that we have. And it's easier to judge them than to judge ourselves. Because the reasons why we don't judge ourselves is because we don't want to face those things. They are our shadow parts. Well, they're all heavy of shame and guilt. And so this is what projection is. There are more simple way to describe this. If someone, let's say someone put my phone in their pocket by accident. And so I could have two reactions. I could think, oh, that person has tried to steal my phone. Or I could say, oh, it was a genuine mistake. It's no problem, give it back to me. And so the reaction that the person have will reflect what they would do. It's not black and white, but pretty much it's either what they would do, or maybe they're paranoid and they believe that everyone is bad, but it's still something that is to do with them. I hope it makes sense. And so now, let's go back to what you said, Caroline. I'm going to read it one more time to try to get my head around it. People who have trauma and does not know any better do that, they project. People who have trauma, you mean to others. Projection is not just what we see in others. Projection is also the very reality that we have. And so basically, I was talking about the belief system at the start of that live. And so whatever that we experience is a projection of our belief. It's a projection of our reality going through the filters of our own belief. So there's nothing about our reality that is not a projection. We only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. It's very simple. And so when you say that people choose, they don't choose. No one chooses anything. We like to believe that because we've been told, we've been conditioned, we've been programmed by society, by schools, teachers, by religion, by everyone around us, that people are bad, they're lazy, they're nasty, they're stupid, they're malicious, they are greedy, they are weak, they're not trying hard enough, they don't have enough willpower, they have bad character, bad moral values. And it's not like that. This is not true at all. Whatever that people do is always limited by how they feel about themselves in regards to that situation in this moment. And so we're all the same, and we're all doing our best. And sometimes some of us can do or say things that are not nice to others. But it's not because of anything, of any of the sins or sinful traits that some people may think we have. It's just because that's all that we know. We do anything through our life to regulate our nervous system in whichever way we know how to do this. And so for some people, regulating the nervous system based from whatever trauma we've been through could be lying to others. It could be shouting, being angry. It could be being miserable and always complaining. And this is why people don't realize. People don't do that because they're miserable or because they're bad or whatever. It's because it's the only way they know how to regulate the nervous system. It's like people who are addicted could be addicted to anything. Addicted to work, addicted to food, addicted to the gym, addicted to drugs, sex, alcohol, addicted to video games, Facebook, social media, addicted to anything at all, right? To drama, you know. And whatever people do is just because it is the only way they have known how to regulate the nervous system. And we are being judged because we don't understand the depth of things. Everyone is doing the same. Even people who are narcissistic, they suffer, and they never chose to be narcissistic. Now, of course, we don't want to allow them into our lives so that it can hurt us. But if we can understand that they are just like us, they just have developed a different way to deal with their own baggage and trauma and blocks, then it's easier for us to, once we have created a space between us and them, not being angry at them. We can replace judgment with understanding. For some of us, we've been so hurt by them that it's very, very hard. It's very challenging. Some people may never be able to get over the narcissist from their past, and it's understandable. But if we can, that's a great thing to experience. And so, yes, does it help, Caroline? It's a choice. I don't want others to hurt. It's not a choice. We believe that because we've been taught. There's a very hard notion that most people will resist, is that we don't have free will. Now, I don't want to be absolute. When we are automatic, when we're going through life and we are being ruled by our subconscious mind, in that moment, we don't have free will. And that's 95% of our awakened state. From the moment we wake up, we're going to get ready to go to work. We think about the day ahead. We travel to work. We interact with people the way we're meant to interact with them. We know exactly when we're going to be hungry, when we're going to be tired. And everything that we do is just a repetition of the day before. And so in those moments, there's no free will. That's what I'm trying to say. There is 5%. There's a little space where some of us, not all of us, but some of us can actually sometime reflect on ourselves, slow down, contemplate what we've done, what happened in the last day, week, month, year. And in those moments, then we may have access to free will. Right? But for the vast majority of us, in the vast majority of time, we're just robots. We have a program and we are literally the victims of all those list of triggers, emotional triggers that are getting us to feel whatever that we're facing or going through within any moment of our day. And this is the harsh truth that many people can't accept. Even the thought that you're choosing, they're limited by your emotions and what you feel about yourself. And so even when you choose, you're not really choosing. You don't have really free will. You are going to still always go towards what your heart tells you to do anyway. So there was never any real choice. There's a very famous German philosopher called Schopenhauer, and he said a very, very powerful phrase about this. You can do what you want, but you cannot want what you want. So this is one of the many different ways people have been trying to explain that we don't have free will for the vast majority of time. And so people don't do things on purpose. Now there's a time where they may think, okay, maybe I can hear, maybe I can do that. But still, it's a very, very blurry space. And what we want to do is to, again, instead of judging, is to find a way to understand. If we can understand, it is much easier to let go of the resentment that we may have about those people. Does it make sense? Caroline, does it help at all? What do you think? Mihailo, so why do they not care if they hurt others? Because it's a survival thing. The more horrible people are, the more they hurt inside of them. And it's like if you burn, if you are touching something very hot, like a charcoal, you're not going to say, why do they not keep it in their hand? Your reaction is to remove your hand. It's a reaction. It's not a choice. And it's not a response. It's a reaction. Whatever is a reaction is emotional. It's subconscious. It's immediate. There's no input of the cognitive mind in that moment. So yeah. And if you say, yeah, but I can have that awareness, how can't they have? It's because you can. And you've forgotten, but you're not the center of the world. We're all different. We're all very, very intricate. We're all very complicated, all of us. And so no one is unidimensional. And there's always a reason as to why we behave in a certain way, but it's never the reason why others think it is. There's so much more than what you see or what you assume. We're all an adventurer, and no one knows what is going on in someone's mind, or even behind closed doors. Mihailo Milutinovic, I love your video. I have been struggling with mental health for years. Medication, therapy, praying. I still struggle with anxiety and depression every day. I'm sorry to hear. We can talk about this if you want. I can maybe show you a different perspective of this and hopefully get you to maybe experience something else that you haven't experienced yet through your healing journey. Just ask me. Kate, thank you. I can ask How does your husband approach your mental health? Has it been tough for him at times? Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. I love him so much. He's been so good to me, and I've suffered from him as well. It goes both ways. In any relationship, there's always 50-50, and he took a lot from me. But I also suffered from him, right? Because I've got autism, because he's got autism, and I've got borderline personality disorder, and so I'm very insecure. And again, it's not because of him. Let me rephrase this. In any relationship, if we want to heal, we want to accept that nothing is ever because of a person. It's not because of you, it's not because of me. It is because of us. It is because of that space in between where we're going to assume things, we're going to react based on our own old emotional wounds, instead of trying to understand. The moment we try to understand and realize it's never you, it's never me, it's always that gray zone, that gray area between us that is blurry and we don't know what is happening, where we're going to assume, take things personally, react, counterattack, and that creates other problems in our lives. And so the first step of healing a relationship is to realize that we can heal together. Everyone has blocks, everyone has baggage. Right? And so my husband did go through a lot with me, because when we've met, I was still drinking every day. I was still very, very angry, very reactive, very depressed, and I was not someone nice to live with. I was very extreme. So again, I've got bipolar, BPD, ADHD, and CPTSD. So I was little bundle of nerve, overacting all the time for anything at all. And for him, who is autistic, it's even harder than for people who are neurotypical. Because I will go in his face, I will ask him, look at me in the eyes when I talk to you, and he can't do this because it's hurting him. His brain works differently. But I didn't know, he didn't know. No, I knew. So we have learned together over the years. We've been together for 20 years now. Right, in March it's going to be 20 years. So we've had a lot of shift into our experience together. And so yes, so basically the way he approaches my mental health is the way we approach our mental health. So basically I've been always talking about this, even when I was struggling, because I've been obsessed with mental health all my life. So I've always been reading tons of stuff, following all sort of different people, and trying to decipher the mechanics of the mind, especially when we had trauma. And so as we talked about this, not only I addressed mine, but also we learned about his, and we talked about a lot of things related to his own past, his own baggage, and his own set of unhealed wounds. And the way that he does it is that we are learning together. We are healing together. I am the force that drives us to move forward with information, and he's the force that keeps us together, because his energy is different. He's very much of an empath, and basically, if we're going to visualize our relationship, the way that I like to explain it is that we are a boat. He's the bottom of the boat that keeps us afloat so that we don't sink, and I am the engine that keeps us going. And we need both to function. And so we have found our system, we have found each other, and this is how we do this. But he has been through a lot because of me, indeed. And if it's not a competition, but if I was going to compare, he's been through more from me than I have been from him. Even though when I was myself distressed because of his behavior, to me, it was the end of the world. It was very bad. People who are autistic, they don't express themselves the way we expect them to express themselves. And for someone who is very insecure because of the BPD, it can be disastrous. I have never felt so hurt, never felt so lonely in my entire life because of the things that we shared, those moments, those things that are said or not said together, because of his autism and me, my BPD. So both, right, always. So yeah, but we worked on everything, and things are getting better all the time, especially since my transformation. I transformed myself in 2008/2009, and from that moment onward, I stopped drinking. I stopped. I lost a lot of my anger issues, and from that point onward, I changed my whole outlook on life. And ever since, I've been still working on that part, because we are many different beliefs. And so the healing process starts with addressing our big triggers, first and foremost, the ones that create problems in our lives, that debilitate us. But then eventually when we do that, when we have done that, we can address the little ones here and there that are still there, because whatever way we function is the result of our whole life. And so we can't change everything just like that. We can change some things, and we want to accept some of the parts of ourselves. So anyway, hope it makes sense. Let me read more. Kate, let me read your post again in full. Can I ask, how does your husband approach your mental health? Has it been tough for him at times? Because my relationships have always suffered because of my mental health issues. Yes. So yes. So now to go with the energy of the question, I'm going to say yes. If you have BPD, all your relationships will suffer, especially the romantic ones. Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of jealousy, passion, there's a lot of tons of insecurities, reactivity, and we are all different. Everything is a spectrum. But I remember, so I was always desperate for shows of love, signs of love with whoever I was with. And sometimes I would actually tell them to F off, disappear from my life. Why? Because there's a part of me that believed that if I tell them to go, then I can see if they really loved me, which doesn't make any sense if you think about it. But basically, I was doing this so to test their love to me. So it's all subconscious, it's all emotional. But I wanted them to say, no, I want to stay with you, because that is what I was. But this is what for me, maybe in that moment, was the panacea of love, the ultimate demonstration of love. And so I would do that. But then they would say, okay, ciao. And they go, why are you leaving me? and I would actually create problems myself. And this is something that very often people who have BPD experience. So it's only an example, but this is how all relationships will suffer. Whichever thing you do, there's a constant scrutinizing people, trying to test them, trying to understand whether they're on your side or whether they're the enemy. For us, the world is black or white. There's no gray area, because we're still traumatized. And so we need to find out straight away, survival mode, is it an enemy or is it a threat? There's no luxury for, yes, but maybe this or that. No, in that moment, I need to find out. Do I need to survive? Do I need to counterattack, fight, flight, freeze? Or are there someone that I can chill with, I can feel protected by? So yeah. So yes, Kate, do you want to tell us more about what you're going through? Maybe? Caroline, is it something negative about me that someone sees when they treat me badly? I have not done or been mean to them, but they are mean anyway. So I don't understand the behavior. So people are not mean to you. So this is a wrong way to go at it. It's normal. We all believe that. If I do something, this should happen. If I do good, I will get good. If I do bad, I will get bad. It's not true. This is not true. It is a belief that you want to change. The world doesn't work like that. It's like the belief, life must treat me fairly. Life must be fair. People must be fair. And what it means is that if we all abide by the same rules, this is how life should be. But then we always experience life and we realize that it doesn't work. Sometimes people are fair, whatever you believe that fair means to you in this moment. And sometimes they're not, and this is just the way it is. So you have to stop believing that your actions determine the behavior of others. It's not about your actions, it's not about your behavior. It's about how you feel about yourself and what you allow in your life. And so it's an energy thing. If people feel that you are going to allow them to take over, they will take over. People recognize we are creatures of emotions, we radiate energy, and we can feel each other's energy all the time. And so people are going to subconsciously recognize who is what. And so if you've been traumatized and you've been hurt a lot in your childhood, you may have created a sense of self that believes that this is who I am. I attract bad people. I've always had bad people in my life. There's nothing I can do about it. And this is the energy that you will radiate, the signals that you will send out there in the universe. And then, if there is someone around in the vicinity that is the opposite of that, someone who has been hurt as well, but they believe that for me to survive this world, I've got to hurt others. People who hurt others, they have the belief that the world has only two kinds of people, the predators or the prey. I'm going to be a predator. I don't want to be hurt anymore. So now they get to recognize the energy of you. We think, that person, perfect. Let's go there. I can feel that it's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be easy for me to manipulate, to hurt, because I can feel that from them. And this is how we attract and allow those people in our lives. Regardless of what you do, it's not what you do at all. It's how you feel about yourself. Right? If you treat people kindly, it's not that brings bad people in your life. Not at all. It is your lack of boundaries. This is where everyone gets it wrong. If you are kind to people, people will disrespect you. If you are kind to people, people will take advantage of you. No. If you are kind to people, you are kind to people. Now, whatever that we do, some people may be kind back at you and some people may not be. But then we have a different situation. And what we want to deal with is that situation. How am I going to deal with that situation? By setting boundaries. This is who I am. This is what I'm expecting from you. This is what I can give you. And if it doesn't fit that contract, you know what? Keep away from me. And so it's not your kindness, it's not your action that determines what people are going to do to you. Don't stop being kind out of fear. You can learn how to be kind if you can learn how to set boundaries. And both can absolutely work very well together, like me. I've learned, I'm kind now to most people as much as I can every day, all the time. But I know that I can feel. If I feel that someone is actually trying to take advantage of me in any which way, then I'm going to put the brakes and say, I've seen you. I give you a chance or not. But this is not going to happen because, I don't want this to happen in my life. And they will get the message and they will keep away from me. And the more we do this, the more we are sending the message out there through our feelings and emotions that I am that sort of person. I'm not going to take any crap from anyone, but I'm choosing to be kind nevertheless. And so that will attract different people in your life over time. If you can do this, Caroline. So it makes sense. Me to understand why they behave the way they do. Samson, hello, Samson. Caroline, yes, that is what I've been thinking about. Why others remain calm and others hurt others, where both of the people have trauma. Okay, so you agree somehow? I'm a little bit behind, just so you know, this is live. I mean, you know that it's live. I think on YouTube, people can't replay the live anyway. So, Richie B. Hi, could you please give me some advice about dismissive avoidance? I recently discovered this applies to me. I didn't know I was like this. I thought this is just the way life is. Thank you for your videos. Okay, so dismissive avoidance. Let me find out first what it means. Dismissive avoidance. Okay. It's a style of relation to others that involves avoiding emotional closeness. Okay, I get it. So basically, you are not in touch with your emotions and you can't be vulnerable when you're in a relationship. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just based on what I've read, this is it. Let me read one more so that I know that I'm not going the wrong direction. I've got a little bit of dyslexia. Sometimes I can mistake some terms, so I need to make sure. Behaviors that trigger avoidance: disrespect of space a long time, big displays of emotions, codependency, clinginess, excessive need for communication, assumption of how they're feeling, being controlled by pain. Okay, I get it. So basically, you need a sense of autonomy and freedom. You don't believe that you're safe if you're going to get too close to someone because they may then control you. You've been through trauma. You did not have the love that you needed, wanted, or deserved in childhood, and this is why you have created that system. Everything that we have in our adulthood is a system that we have created in childhood to protect us from whatever we've been through. And so it doesn't make sense now because we're an adult and it creates problems in a relationship. But the reason why it doesn't make sense is because those systems that we have put into place were put into place by us when we were a child. So they were never designed to sustain the life of an adult. But back then, it made sense. And so whatever happened to you, you have created that belief inside of you that I can't be too close to people because otherwise they're going to hurt me. And that is down to one belief. the belief that you're not lovable, the belief that you don't deserve to be loved, the belief that you don't deserve to be in a happy, normal, loving family or relationship. Any which way, something like that, right? And because of that, there's a part of you that will protect you from being too close to others. Anyone who's too clingy, anyone that is showing too much affection, anyone that is trying to ask you about some personal, emotional things, you will feel that they are crossing your boundaries and they are potentially going to affect your autonomy and your sense of freedom and safety. Does it make sense, Richie? And so the advice about this, it depends. What I need to know is how is this affecting you in your life? What is the main thing? What is the main pattern? What is the main problem? And we can address this because there's a lot of different ways this can express itself through your life. But the main thing about it is to realize that there's a part of you that wants to protect you from love because you believe that love is not available to you. And so if you believe that something is not available to you, including love, health, or happiness, or abundance, then your mind will work to protect you from any of those things. And so your dismissive, avoidant attachment style is there for that, precisely to protect you. So what do we do? We address the fear. You want to realize that there's nothing for you to be protected against. And so this will be different for everyone. So for me to give you advice, I need to know a little bit more about yourself. Richie, tell me more about you, please. Caroline, I forgot to continue. Makes it easier for me to understand why people behave the way they do. I like to learn more about psychology and mental health. So I hope that whatever I said previously in regards to your question answered that. If not, do ask me more, Caroline. Mel Sikora, hi, I am struggling right now. I'm so exhausted of living my old life and behavior and believe in good things will come if I keep going. Can you give me an advice to keep the faith? All right, to keep the faith, you don't really need to keep the faith. You're trying to keep the faith cognitively. But for the fact that you are still alive, to me, it says that at the subconscious level, you have the faith. There's a part in you that believes that things will get better, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. You've been through so much, whatever you've been through, and yet you're still here. And so what we don't realize is that we are very fragile beings. If you really don't want to be in this life, in this planet anymore, it's quite easy for anyone to do this. But we don't do anything to jeopardize our being here because inside of us, there's a part of us that believes that things will get better. There is a belief behind this. And so what you want to do is to bring that belief from here to there, from the emotions, from the subconscious to the cognitive. And so there's a part of you that knows that you had some good things in your past. There's a part of you that knows that you have been able to achieve success and achievements in your past. There's a part of you that understands that you have power, that you have potential, that you have dreams that can be available to you. So what you want to do is to remind yourself cognitively of what you already know subconsciously. How do you do that? By replaying in your mind all of your success. Have a detective mindset and seek out in your mind through meditation. Close your eyes and try to relax yourself and allow for some memories of the past to come back. But focus on the good ones. Be a detective. Find out, what is it about my past that was happy? What is it about my past that I can be proud of? What about, is it about my past that made me feel good about myself? And try to milk those things. Find them and play them in your mind again. Remind yourself, I did that. I had this. I knew that person. I had that experience. It was great. And then you're reminding, you know what? I have power. I am able. I deserve love and happiness. I am more of it. And all those things. You will remember them. If you had a success in the past, any success at all, if you learn how to play an instrument, to ride a bicycle, if you could blow the first candle on your first birthday cake, it is an achievement. It is a success. It's something that you have created for yourself. No one else did it but you. If you can remind yourself of this, it is the same formula for success for anything. If you had, if someone kissed you in the cheek once in your life, you know that you're lovable. It is the same formula. You just need to believe in yourself and go with the flow and see what happens and allow for the universe to do its job. And so if you're struggling, it's because you're overwhelmed. So I would suggest for you to maybe do anything that can keep you away from the stress. Do anything within your lifestyle, within your environment that can help you keep away from stress, from anxiety, from pressure as much as you can, right? And so again, there's a lot of things you can do. There's therapy, there's meditation, there's a lot of somatic healing protocols, there's a spiritual journey that some people embark on that can change their life. There's something that you can do for your body. Eat better, sleep better, exercise, do some ice shower, sort of things, spend time in nature, socialize more, do things that are that gets you to create creative stuff that makes you happy, chill, choose to do nothing whenever you feel like it. Basically, do your best to release the stress and pressure from your body so that eventually you can meditate and go back into this happy place in your past and remind yourself that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that you have hope and faith already inside of you, right? So that's how we bring it back from the subconscious to the conscious. Does it help, Mel? Richie, yes, it makes perfect sense. Fantastic. I'm doing work on myself and I'm currently over 2 years sober. Fantastic. Good on you. Good on you. Merci, Cora. Thank you so much. Thank you. Caroline, thank you for these lives. They give personal growth and self-care and help so many. Looking forward to your book. Thank you so much. Yeah. I need to, it's not there yet. It's not that I need. I'm working on it, but things takes time. Thank you for remembering it. Kate, you have a beautiful mindset. Thank you so much. Guys, I'm just going to have a quick break to the loo if you don't mind. Please stick with me. I've been to the gym and I drank gallons of water and this was meant to happen. So just bear with me. I'm going to be back within a minute. And I'm back. Sorry about that. This is me being as authentic as I can on social media. So there you go. It happened. This is the magic of the life. So let's see if there's any more comment. There's none, I think. So at this point in time, I come to the end of the thread. So guys, do you have any comment yourself about anything that I said so far? Again, I'm going to be here for another maybe hour if you want, depending on how this goes. Are you still here? I'm not sure how this works even. I'm used to TikTok. I go live on TikTok twice a week at the moment. And so you can find me there around 9 or 9:30 in the evening UK time. But I started to go live on YouTube every Saturday. So this is my third one. And at the moment, I'm going to stick to 6 p.m. But yeah. Someone asked me, Brian, any thought on ayahuasca for mental health? I don't really know, to be honest with you. A lot of people have been telling me about this, a lot of my colleagues. Ayahuasca. The South American psychoactive beverage, traditionally used by indigenous culture and folk healers in the Amazon and Orinoco basins for spiritual ceremonies, divination, and healing a variety of psychosomatic complaints. So some of my friends do that. Actually, I know a couple of people who have some retreat I think one is in Portugal and one is somewhere else. We've invited people to do that. Now, I believe that there's wisdom in everything. I believe in ancient wisdom. So I believe that the right people may be able to help people have some sort of very positive experience with that. And I know a lot of people who've been doing this, and they've been, for the majority of them, very, very positive about the experience. However, I also understand that it's a whole skill in itself, and so you want to make sure that you find the right people, right? Again, the people that I know, they're just my mate from a different life, and they happen to do this now, so I don't know if they're any good. Even though they are my friends, I don't know if they're good at that. And so it's very important to realize that what matters is not the product that you're going to ingest and get you to have hallucination. It's about how people are going to lead the ritual, how they're going to feel your energy, to adapt to how you are moving, and so they know what to do at the right time. It's never about the thing, it's about the people. And so make sure that you, if you're going to go that route, find someone with whom you can connect emotionally, someone that you believe does it for the right reasons and care about your well-being and has experiences of this in the past as well. That would be my advice to you. I do believe that there is some truth in old ancient stuff, but I also understand that a lot of people do all sort of things for all sorts of different reasons, and so you want to be careful. Again, there's no such thing as a magic pill. There's only tools, systems, protocols that are being used by people. So what matters the most, and this applies also for mental health and therapy, is finding the right person for you. Whatever system, sometimes people ask me, is RTT good? Is EMDR good? Is this or that good? I say, they're all good. It depends. It's about you finding out what works for you. There's nothing that works for everyone. However, there's something that will work for you at this point in time in your journey. So it's for you to find out through your own journey of self-discovery what resonates the best with you, and then find the right person for you as well. Some people believe in all sorts of things. I believe in all sorts of things. But when it comes to healing, there are some things that I understand, that I use. But other stuff, they belongs to different spiritual belief. Some of my friends are into regression, past life regressions. Some of my friends are into all sort of spiritual stuff, and I get it. I think it's amazing. It's very interesting. And so if people are into those sort of things, those are the sort of protocols that would actually serve them the most, the best, provided we find the right people. I hope it makes sense. But don't expect for a magic potion to change your life just because of the property of the potion. It's about the whole ritual. And again, with therapy, it's the same thing. The most important aspect of whether your therapy is going to be fruitful or not depends on your relationship with the therapist, on how you feel about that person. The complete art form. Why are you so jittery? Too much caffeine? Maybe. I've been to the gym, so I have ADHD as well. So this is me. Sometime I'm like that. And so I have a lot of energy, and I've been to the gym, and I did take pre-workout supplement, which has caffeine. So yes, that would absolutely get me to be very jittery. This is who I am. I hope that you have no problem with that. And as always, I always say, love me or leave me. And I'm sure that, I hope that you're going to love me. I'm being authentic, I'm being transparent, I'm just myself. So some moment I can be very calm, very peaceful, very focused. And some of the time, just like now, again, because of the gym, I'm a bit over the place. And it's just a different aspect of me, and it's okay, I think. I think some people also appreciate that side of me. But yes, ADHD and this and that also comes into play. Mel, do you have any ideas of leaving functional freeze behind? So if you have functional freeze, you want to address why you have the functional freeze. It's not about ideas or hack or magic bullet that will help you deal with that. It's about understanding why you have functional freeze. It's about finding the root cause of your problem. The functional freeze is a symptom. It's not the root cause, it's just a symptom. Basically, we create system in our life from childhood to protect us from life. And so the functional freeze was originally created by you to protect yourself from whatever was happening to you in childhood. So when we freeze, think about survival mode, fight, flight, freeze. It is one of the big three. And there's one more, phone. but freezing is a system that we use to survive. And so if, as a child, for instance, if I'm going through some abuse, and there's nothing that I can do to escape this abuse, the best deal my mind will give me is to dissociate from this place, from this moment, from this reality, from this experience, from my body. And I'm going to freeze and I'm going to be somewhere else because I can't fight back and I can't escape either. And so as a result of that, if I've been through some situation, we create that little mental note. Whenever I face danger, what works for me? Functional freeze. I'm going to freeze. And this is typical with trauma. And so what you want to do, if you experience this, address the trauma. Don't address the symptom, address the trauma. Work on it, find out what it is, how you can deal with that. We can all heal from trauma. It is absolutely possible to heal from trauma. So yes, does it help, Mel? Mel, leaving, sorry, I am from Germany, and to write my feelings and thoughts down is not so easy today. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that somehow you get something from that, and if not you, other people in the background, maybe. But do come back to me if you are going to watch this live back on replay. Hopefully you will get answer if you left too soon. And you can always come back. Again, I'm going to do my best to come here on YouTube, doing live broadcast every Saturday. So I wish you all the best, Mel. Amatullah, what is the topic about? I just joined. It's about mental health, it's about therapy, it's about mindset, it's about mindfulness, it's about human psychology, human behavior, human relationships. It's about understanding why people do the things they do, why do we feel the way we feel, and what we can do about all of this. What can we change? What can we do about trauma, about depression, anxiety, self-sabotage, anger issues, or anything at all? This is what it's about. So if you have any question, just ask me. And again, because if you are wondering why I'm dressed like that as a therapist, it's because I'm doing this in my free time. And so I've been to the gym. This is my gym attire. And I'm just being authentic. And I come here whenever I can. So there you go. Amatullah, do you have any question about you or people close to you, perhaps? Mel, would you tell me something about your professional history? Okay, what would you like to know about it? If you ask me, I can tell you about it. I'm 54, so I have a long life with a lot of things to talk about. So I don't know which part, which angle you want to look at it from. But I can tell you that I started my life suffering from a lot of conditions. I had a terrible, very bad childhood and terrible bad teenagehood, and then the start of my adult life was also chaotic and quite all over the place. And so I've got different conditions. I've got borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, ADHD, and CPTSD. And I used to be addicted to class A drugs and alcohol for 38 years of my life. I used to be very angry, very reactive, very destructive, very aggressive, very mean, very nasty, very petty. I was a very different person. And somehow my life changed. I had a revelation, a transformation, and I was able to let go of one of my core beliefs that created all the problems in my life. And so from that point onward, I became teetotal. I stopped the alcohol and the drugs. But I still had some other work to do on myself, but at least that was out of the way. And so I decided to look after my body, because up to this point, I was like a zombie. I had no mental strength, no physical strength, and emotionally, I was all over the place. I was like a zombie. And so I decided to learn how to look after my body. I became a personal trainer. And then that led me to become a strength and conditioning coach. So I fixed my body first. And then as I looked after my sports people, I looked after some professional sports people, I understood that there was such thing as mindset. So I decided to learn about mindset for them. But then halfway through, I realized that mindset is much bigger than sport performance. And so eventually I decided to open, after studying all of those things for quite a long time, I decided to open my first practice, mindset practice. But then I realized that I was missing something. I was missing the emotional part, the subconscious part. And so I did some more course. The main one was RTT with Marisa Peer. It's a hypnotherapy course. This is the tool that I use. And that taught me everything that I need to know about the subconscious mind. And now I've been a therapist for 7, 8 years now. And so there you go. Whatever that I did was a part of me wanted to know about myself. And eventually I became quite good at it. And so I used it professionally to help other people. Right. And that's it. I am also an author. I've been published 10 times in collaboration with other people. And I'm working on my own book, hopefully to be published sometime this year. So yes, that's my personal history. I fixed my own problems, and because I have ADHD, I'm obsessed with that. I can easily obsess over the things that I love, and this is something that I think about 24/7 for years. And yeah, I hope this satisfies your curiosity. Mel, I like that you are the way you. Okay, thank you. Amatura, when does one know that we healed from depression, trauma, anxiety? I feel scared of feeling happy, feeling scared. It is only a phase and I will fall back. Okay, so healing is a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. And it's not just all black or white. It's not like, I'm all bad and I want to go in a place where everything is going to be perfect and happy forever. It's not like that. It's about learning that in life we will always have ups and downs. However, we can have systems in place to first let go of the habits that are the most debilitating for us, but also accept that every now and then we're going to be down, and it's okay because we have tools now to address those down moments. Life is made of contrast. You will never get into a place where you will never hurt, you will never suffer. Right? However, what you can do is to undo your habits of hurt. And so if you have depression, healing from depression is finding a way to be happy, content, satisfied about yourself, in the knowledge that sometime you will feel down. And it's okay, because you have to undo a whole life of habit. Your brain has adapted to how many years you are. And so we have to undo all of that things. There's a lot of things to undo, right? And so see your life like that. We all have ups and downs. But when you heal, you're going in that direction. You're getting better and better. How do you know that you have healed? You have started the process of healing when you feel better about yourself. But do accept that you will have some down moments. And when it happens, it's not that it failed. It doesn't mean that it's a failure. It doesn't mean that it's not working. It only means that you have to go through that. It's part of the process. You have to go through that in order to get better and better. And so it's the same thing with trauma and anxiety. With trauma, you will actually notice it in the sense that you will be less on your guard. With trauma, we are paranoid and we're always looking out for the bad things in life because we need to protect ourselves. And so when we heal from a trauma, the first thing that we feel is, I'm feeling safe. I can have confidence. I can do things. I can speak to people. I can go out. I can start to dream again. Those sort of things. Depression is reconnection from the things that you have disconnected from. And so you will feel a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. And anxiety, it's similar to trauma, is feeling safe. But whatever that we work on, we're still human beings, and we still have to deal with all those neural pathways in our brain that we have created all throughout our life, your whole life. And so we may address some big ones, and those are the most important to address as a priority. But we still have some other stuff because we have different situations, different people, different place and time, and so we have different belief to address for each of those things individually. So for instance, I transformed myself in 2009, big time. My outlook changed. I changed my whole life. But I still have worked on myself ever since, non-stop, and I will do that all my life. I can function. I'm happy. I'm teetotal. I'm very fulfilled. I'm healing people now as a living, and so I'm in a very good place in my life. But there's still other things that I have to work on myself because we are so deep. We're so multi-layered. No one is unidimensional. And so this is what you want to accept and realize, that healing is not going to a place where everything is going to be perfect forever. It is feeling better about yourself in the acceptance that you will have ups and downs, but it's okay because now you're going to have some systems to deal with those downs. For instance, I couldn't get into those spaces where I used to be. Not as bad, right? Just a little. But then it can still happen. I can still feel hurt. I can still react. I can feel insecure, rejected. Particularly with my husband, because we have established habits over many, many years before we found out that there was something about us that we had to address. But because of that, I'm still working on those things. He's as well together, and things are getting better. So there you go. Does it answer our question, Amatula? Don't feel scared of anything. The fear is the main thing. Embrace your emotions and your feelings. Accept that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to hurt at times because it happens. There's a difference between pain and suffering. And so if we follow the Buddhist principles, pain is ouch, it's going to happen. Suffering is ouch. Why did it happen to me? I hate this. I don't want this to happen again. And I'm going to make sure that it never happens to me. Now we're going to focus on that thing. We're going to prolong the pain unnecessarily. If you just realize that this is pain, ouch, it sucks. However, let it out. And the next moment, it's gone. Because nothing lasts forever. Not even your pain, not even your depression, your anxiety, whatever that you've been through now is only what you're feeling in this moment. And we all fluctuate. Whether you're aware of this or not, you change all the time. Every moment is different. You don't always feel down, bad. You don't always feel panicky or anxious. Sometimes you feel better. Sometimes you feel worse. And so you are always fluctuating. And that awareness is where your healing starts. It's the acceptance that you will always fluctuate and learning how to be comfortable with this moment. Learning how to be comfortable with the down without choosing to make it happen again. When you think about something, you're going to reinforce it. You're going to create suffering out of pain. Pain was only ever meant to be temporary. Suffering can last a lifetime, forever, for as long as you think about it, for as long as you are holding on to it, for as long as you are attached to those beliefs that are getting you to obsess over the pain or the fear of it. And so learning how to be comfortable with disappointment, with rejection, with pain itself can be a very important step for many of us to start healing and realize that I'm not made of glass. I can feel those things and it's okay. I can be sad at times. I can be scared at times. I can feel helpless at times. I can be angry at times, but it's okay. I can also breathe and let it go and come back to a place of peace and mental clarity eventually. And we can also address those triggers to make sure that they are lesser and lesser over time. Does it make sense? Does it help, Amatula? Caroline, makes me happy to hear that one can heal from trauma. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Peter Meck, I just watched your short about trauma stored in the body. Can you talk about this a little? What does this mean for healing from past trauma? Okay, so what it means is that when we have trauma, our nervous system believes that we're not safe, we're in danger. I may not survive whatever is happening to me. And so the body is going to react in a lot of different ways to protect yourself. Now, those little systems that were put into place can develop into all sorts of different physical illnesses and problems over time. Right? And so basically, if you have a little glitch here, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of sweating, whatever, all of those are trauma which have literally become something that your body does automatically when you feel stressed out. And sometimes you don't even need to feel stressed out, it's there. And so this is what we mean by the trauma is stored in the body. People who suffer from grave illnesses at a later stage in their life, things like cancer, Alzheimer, Parkinson, heart attack, high blood pressure, all of those things that are quite dramatic and we can avoid, they all have a connection. Repressed emotion, unhealed emotional wounds. We have created systems that we have never addressed in adulthood. And now our body is going to go more into that direction because whatever that we repeat, we reinforce. And eventually, this is why so many of us have so many problems at a later stage in our life. Because we have not addressed those things that we put into place because of whatever happened to us in childhood. So yes, this is how trauma is stored in the body. It affects your very physical health. It affects your emotional health, of course, and your mental health. There's only one health, or health, and any aspect of it, mental, emotional, or physical, is the same. This is what it means. The body-mind connection is that we don't have a body and a mind, or a soul. We have us, and we are all of those things at the same time. Now, whether you see yourself as a body, a mind, or a soul, depends on your perspective. That's it. If you see a GP, they will see your body. If you see a psychologist or a therapist, they will see your emotional mind. If you see someone who is into spirituality, they will see your soul, and so forth and so on. And so this is pretty much the main message about that phrase. When people say that the trauma is stored in the body, it affects any aspect of ourselves. Your body is a collection of cells, and all those cells, they all have an intelligence of its own. And so your body remembers things. If you've been through my clients, we find out a lot of things like that that don't come into their mind until we go into regression and we visit some memories from the past. And so, for instance, I can give you a random example, something that is popping into my mind. One of my clients, under stress, always felt the need to vomit. And they didn't understand why. And we found out in their childhood that there was something to do with them vomiting and the trauma that is happening in that moment. And so because of that, now the body understood that somehow when they go into stress, they need to vomit to feel better about themselves. For some people, it can be pain, it can be migraine, it can be brain fog, it can be things like anything to do with fatigue. It can be skin problems, it can be digestion problem, it can be anything at all. It can be joint problem. Again, we're not just this or that. And so there is a biological explanation as to why things happen, but the emotional connection is huge and it's not talked about enough. So this is it. Whatever what you're going through, even if it's something physical, if you can understand the subconscious and emotional implications in that very physical situations, you may be able to actually fix that problem just for that, just for that. Now, you want to utilize everything. Modern medicine, medication, treatment, great. But sometimes we go through a lot of work to find out why we have that problem and doctors can't help us. That's because we are missing out the secret element of unhealed emotional wounds. Does this answer your question, Peter? There's a very good book about it called The Body Keeps the Score. It's a very important book for any therapist. And it's written by Bessel van der Kolk. Bessel van der Kolk. Hope I pronounce it right. And so, yeah, check it out. The Body Keeps the Score. It's a big book, but it's very, very, very important. And it teaches us so much more than whatever we think about our body, our mind, and our health. Caroline, I get tense and sweat when social. I asked ChatGPT about this, and it told me that it could be from fight activated while being social. I try to think that it's a safe surrounding, but okay. So ChatGPT is right. When you feel the way that you feel is because your body is reacting to it in a way to somehow protect you from the perceived danger of you being out there in social. Now, when you say, I'm trying to think would not change anything because it's not happening here. It's happening there. And that's why so many people suffer, because they believe that they can think their problems out. You can't. If your trauma, a trauma is installed in your nervous system, it is subconscious, sub. So you don't have access to it here. Now we can understand some things, but the trauma is still in your heart, in your body, in your nervous system, in your spine, in here, not there. We can think of what we think is not going to address the problem because the problem doesn't live here, it lives there. This is what therapy is about. It's about addressing your emotions, your subconscious, as opposed to talking therapy, but it's about addressing the cognitive. Whatever that we do here, we solve nothing until we address here first. Now, if we can address this here, then after that we can talk. And we can change the way you think, the way you see things, the way you interpret things from the cognitive mind, once you have removed the emotional blocks. So if you're feeling sweaty and tense, whatever that you think will not make any difference. Now, you can still try something that can make you feel better. It depends how bad you are. So I don't want to be that guy who says that nothing works. There's always some possibilities that something may help you. And so change your internal dialogue. Try this. It may work. It may help you. Right? Whenever you're out there, realize that you feel like that because you're allowing some voice, some narrative happening in your mind. And you may not be conscious of it. It may not be the sentence that is being said. But there's still something happening. Our thoughts can be conscious or subconscious. And so what it means is that one of the ways you may be able to address this is by reminding yourself some information that makes you feel better about yourself in this moment. Tell yourself, I am safe. I am all right. They're just people like me. They're not after me. They're doing their things. Try to find a way to create a narrative that makes you feel safer. Try to be your own good friend. If you had a friend that was freaking out in public settings, what would you tell them? Tell yourself that, right? Don't worry, they are fine. They don't care. They're not thinking or plotting anything against you. They're just minding their own business. But then again, it depends. Again, if you are neurodivergent, then that could be actually a problem. Again, ADHD, autism, and those things, being in social places, it can be very, very heavy, very hard because it's too much. And so if that's the case, there's a way around it. But you want to address your biggest triggers, you want to address your baseline of stress and anxiety, you want to address your lifestyle and all those things, so that eventually, when you're out in the outside, you can utilize those little mindset hack to feel better about yourself. So again, I wouldn't know precisely what is best for you at this point in time because I don't know you that well. But really, it's about understanding the bigger picture. I hope it helps. Caroline. Mel, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, you're still here. Fantastic. I feel connected to you in some way. I like to listen to you. Thank you so much. We share some mutual experience. You are open-minded and look with your heart. Thank you so much, Mel. Caroline, my body reacts to it anyways. Yes, because your body has a different agenda than your brain. You have, so often talk about it, we have three different minds. You have your head, your brain, you have your heart, which is your body, your emotions, your feelings, your sensations. And then you have your intuition, which is your gut. And there's a place and a time for everything. They're different minds, they use a different language, and they have a different purpose. And so whenever your body reacts to something, it's doing its thing independently from what you think. So what you think will not make much difference anyway. Now, if you work on yourself, it's possible to affect how you feel by choosing how you think. But it takes some practice, some work to develop those skills, to learn. Thank you for the heart, whoever. Also, I don't know how it works, but somehow, sadly, I think that at this point in time, all those comments, they don't appear on the video once it's posted on YouTube. So I'm going to try to find out how it works. If you can help me out with that, just let me know. But I would like somehow for all those comments to be seen when people, if they replay the video afterward. Okay. Christine, thank you for all your amazing content. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm glad you appreciate. Amatula, thank you. I really appreciate your time and answer. It really helped seeing it this way. Thank you so much, Amatula. Mel, I'm very scared of making errors. When it happens, I destroy myself so deeply. I know I was shamed of my mother very often. What can I do to be softer with myself? I feel deep love and understanding. Okay, so you are hitting it on the nail. Okay, let me finish. There's another section of you. I feel deep love and understanding for others, but not for myself. Are there ways to let go of deep hurting and traumas? I love to be softer with myself. Okay, so there's the shortcut and the long road. Shortcut is if you need to seek some professional help. So it's possible, just like that, to really, really change the way you think about yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you feel about yourself. But you can also do it from your own place over time. So how long, it depends. But what you want to do is to realize that that voice that is so hard on yourself is not your voice. It's your voice. It's the voice of your parents. It's the voice of your mum. She made you ashamed, and so because of that, her voice is somewhere reverberating in the back of your mind. And it's there to remind you of what you believe about yourself. And so what you want to do is to learn how to be kind to yourself. Learn how to talk to yourself kindly. So this is what it means when we say learn how to be kind to yourself, is learn how to speak to yourself kindly. And so it takes a lot of self-awareness to realize this, but we don't realize, for the vast majority of us, that we're all horrible to ourselves. We talk to ourselves in a very nasty way all the time. And that's because that's what we have been used to. So we keep with the habits from the past. But it's not even our habit, it's something that belonged to the adults in our childhood. And so you can learn to start to be kinder to yourself. So one example that I often give is that in the past I used to be, like so many of us, horrible to myself. If I would drop something, I would tell myself, what the hell? I'm so fucking clumsy. Oh, I'd be angry. What's wrong with me? Why did I do that? And then I realized it's so mean. Why am I doing this? Because this is how people used to talk to me. And so instead now, I've been doing it for a while, but at the beginning, when I was clumsy again, I would say, you know what? Let's breathe, let's go with the anger. And now I realize, okay, you know what? It's not a big deal. I can clean it up. I can fix this, and then I can be kind to myself. I can say, it happens, it's not a big deal. And then just like that, I'm learning how to be kinder to myself whenever those situations happen. But this is only an example. It's the same when we're outside. If I talk to people and I say the wrong things, I'm like insecure. Oh, why did I say that? I'm such an idiot. I missed that opportunity to come across as better or whatever. I'm going to replay all those things in my mind. But what we can do is to think, okay, you know what? I only knew what I knew then, and it felt right to me then. It was a little bit silly, but it's not a big deal. The right people will stick with me. They will see me through. They will understand who I am, past my behavior, hopefully. And the wrong ones, they will not stay. And it's a good system, right? And so learn how to change the dialogue that you have about yourself all the time. Try to catch yourself. Even when we heal, I hear this all the time. People say to me, I'm getting better, but I wish I was better already. Oh, I want to get there. And I'm like, look at what you're doing to yourself. You're doing well. And instead of celebrating you're doing well, you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough. I should get better. Even in the healing process, we do this. And so we must really learn how to catch ourselves and analyze, think, this is not kind. I can talk to myself in a better way. And then we can practice and remind ourselves, put a little mental note and do it again and again and again until it becomes easier and more natural and automatic. And then eventually it will become your new self-talk. A self-talk grounded in compassion, love, support, and trust. And so if you are very scared of making errors, it's because when you did some mistakes as a child, you were punished for it. And this is why it's very important to tell parents not to punish their children. It traumatizes them, it teaches them to be scared and to be obedient, not to develop their happiness, their imagination, their talent. And so what you want to do is to realize that now it's not errors. You don't do errors. You are learning through experience. So if you do something and you realize that it's not working, what are you going to do? You can either tell yourself, I'm such an idiot. It's not going to be very helpful because you can feel bad about yourself. Or you can tell yourself, this happened. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I make this useful so that in the future I know what to do next? It's simple. Life is a school. Everything is a lesson. And so just like that, you no longer you don't make mistakes anymore. Just change your mindset. Everything is a lesson. And be kind to yourself and think, I've learned this again. This didn't happen because it was there to teach me something. I was not rejected by those people. They redirected me into a better direction. There's someone for everyone, and so I was not right for them, they were not right for me. It's not something to do with my worth. It's just a lesson for me to learn about where I should be. I'm going with my flow, and what can I learn from that situation, right? And so if you can change your mindset, it will be easier for you to experience the ups and the downs and the mistakes. There's no mistakes, but without feeling bad about yourself. There's no one behind you going to punish you anymore. You're no longer a child, you're a grown-up. So talk to yourself like you would talk to your kids or your friends or people that you care about, people that you love, people that you want to see succeed, right? Does it help? I see some hearts. I take it for a yes. Caroline, message retracted. 2 times. Brian, also message retracted. Okay, fair enough. Why? Brian, no, this is retracted. Katya, hey, I like your vids. Love from Algeria. Okay, from Algeria. Thank you, Katya. Merci. I don't know, I think Many people speak French there, don't they? Caroline, so good advice. Thank you, Caroline. Lily Burton, what's your thought on ketamine therapy? I don't have much thought about it. To be honest with you, I'm not hugely keen on anything to do with drugs. Now, so I know there's a place and a time for everything, but because I used to be an addict myself for such a long time, I don't really like that approach. I believe that everything that we need to heal exists already inside of us. If we take something from the outside, now we can create some imbalance that may help alleviate how we feel in the moment for some people. But it's never going to fix us, because the system that we have in place is still the same. So what we want to do is to address the system from the inside out. All the drugs or medications that we take, they exist already somewhere in our body or in our brain. Otherwise, they would be poison. And so we can find a way to elicit those reactions from the inside out. It's possible. We can address our lifestyle, we can do a lot of therapy, we can do all sorts of things that can really, really help us doing this. And that will be, for me, the always preferred option if possible. Again, each case is different. But I'm not a huge fan on drugs, because I know by experience that we're going to adapt to anything. This is what the body and the brain does. It's designed to adapt. And so what it means is that eventually, if the drug helps, because that is not guaranteed for everyone, then at some point we're going to be accustomed to it, and then we need a stronger dose or something else. And now we've created more problems for ourselves. Addiction. So yes. But then again, every case are individual, so we never want to generalize anything. Katja, can I ask if I need to see a professional? I always had a problem with relationships not making there, but keeping those relationships. I always search for the bad side of people after a while of knowing them. Okay, because you've been hurt, and so there's a part of your mind that is preparing yourself to the deceit. There's a part of your mind, basically, you have a belief that being loved by someone who is loyal, by someone who will be always there for you, you believe that this is not available to you. And this is why your mind is trying to protect you. It's telling you, remember, they are all like that. They hurt you in the past, this one is going to be the same. So, and so it's getting you to search for the bad things just to get you prepared, because your mind believes that it's going to happen for sure. Right? So what you want to do is to address that belief. Change that belief is not true. Not everyone is like that. Some people hurt you in the past, but it's a big world out there, and everyone is different. There are people that will want to hurt you, but also there are a lot of people that will want to love you, to accept you, to support you unconditionally. And it's for you to find out who they are and allow them in your life and connect with them. But those people, if you keep on seeing the world the way you see it, like looking for the bad stuff, you may not even see them, because you will only see the bad stuff about them, but not the potential of them being good to you. And that will be a form of self-sabotage. Yeah. Does it resonate with you, Katja? Amatula, after being abused in a relationship, I don't trust my own judgment about men anymore, and I'm extremely scared of always choosing the wrong person, even if I already last time looked for red flags. So you need to heal your trauma. As long as you have trauma, your mind will be like that, and you will never be able to have a good relationship. Or even if you do, your mind will sabotage it. You're going to think, he's going to hurt me at some point. I can't trust him. And as soon as there's a little something, your mind will go, see, look, I told you. Because our mind is biased. It does whatever program we tell it to do. It's answering our commands. So you want to change the program, right? I was blind, so I don't know to trust my own judgment again. Yes, this is trauma. We can't trust our own judgment. And so if you can't trust your own judgment, what is going to protect you? All of those emotional reactions and that bias that you are surrounded by bad people waiting to hurt you. This is the system that you have created for you, because your judgment, you don't trust it anymore. So you want to find out about the trauma and change your belief and realize that whatever happened to you in the past was in the past. And it doesn't mean that because it happened in the past, it's going to happen again. Or it may happen again, but you're a different person now. You can learn how to develop a coping mechanism so that when there are things happening, you you can deal with the situation just like that. Trauma brings a lot of helplessness, because trauma is feeling that you are in danger, you're not safe, you're not able to make it, and so the only response to that is that whenever we feel a threat again, we're going to disappear, go away from that, because it's just too scary, too overwhelming. But if you can create a coping mechanism and realize this was then, now I am me. Now I have resources, knowledge, wisdom that I didn't have then. I can learn how to do this. Then I can deal with situations as they happen or before they happen. But yeah, it's a tricky one. Have you done some work on yourself, Amatullah? Peter, the nasty voice gets so comfortable. I am learning to consciously recognize it and then shut it down if I can. So far, less self-hate is the goal. Love seems much. Okay, I get you. Yes, I'm with you. It's a very good level of self-awareness. Indeed, we can't go from here to there. It's a process. There's an emotional ladder, so you want to climb wherever you can get comfortably, one step at a time. And so you can't get rid of a voice. You don't want to shut that voice. What you want to do is to learn how to love yourself, so that you want to realize that you have many parts in you, and they all tell you something different. You want to realize that that voice, you don't want to shut it down, because it's there to protect you. Even though it's nasty, it was there originally to somehow protect you. And so if you want to address the need for protection instead, that changes everything. If you can tell your mind, you see, now I don't need protection anymore. Thank you for protecting me. However, you're not needed anymore. And now I'm going to focus on the other voices, the kind voices, the nice, supportive ones, the positive ones. So we don't get rid of a voice, we choose a better one instead. But it's all a process. But based on what you say, I think you seem to be going in the right direction, I think. Katja, then even if I know that what I do to those around me is wrong, I always choose to distance myself. And from time to time, I choose people that are horrible just to subject them to that. So I'm a bit confused. You're choosing people that are horrible too, right? If it's correct, to correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, we attract the people that we believe we deserve, or that we need to complete the narrative that we have about ourselves. And so it's actually quite normal. It sounds weird and horrible, but we indeed attract people who fit the narrative that we have about ourselves. And so if I've been hurt a lot in the past, I believe that this is who I am, and I need those people to confirm how I see myself in this world. Right? And so we keep on attracting narcissists. People are going to manipulate me, gaslight me, take advantage of me, be horrible to me, because I need them to confirm my own story. So you need to change the story. There's always going to be people. You attract, you allow, you invite the people that fit your story. And also, there's a part of us that wants to change our past. And so very often, we're going to attract people who are exactly the same as the people who hurt us in our past. Because we want to change them. Because we think, if I can fix that person who reminds me so much of mom or dad, then it means that it was never my fault. So yeah, there are many aspects to it. But the main thing is to realize that we are the continuation of a story that started a long time before us, and we can change the direction of the story at any time. Any one of us. Cloud 9 Whiskey. I wish I had you when I was a young man. I used to cut myself. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Cut myself and be very nervous and angry and sad. Why do people cut themselves? There's a lot of different reasons as to why, but it gives them a sense of control. And then it gives them a sense of control, and it's like people who have OCD. They do certain things because it gives them an illusion of control. And so it's just a ritual that somehow is developed. And so, yes, there's that. If you still do that, you can change that. You don't want to change. It's just a coping mechanism that was somehow installed at some point. But I was laughing because when you say, when I was a young man, what I'm trying to say is it's never too late to change. regardless of your age. We can still work on things and talk about anything you want to talk. We can address this now. There's nothing that we can't change. We can't change everything about us, but we can change some aspects if they are really, really pressing and important. It's possible because our brain is designed to change and adapt all throughout our lives, regardless of our age. Amatura, yes, I am in a behavioral therapy for depression since 1 year. Another year coming, it helped a bit, but I'm in the middle still. Thank you a lot for advices and understanding. Okay, you are doing something great. Keep going, keep learning, keep growing, keep discovering aspects of yourself. And it's a journey. Healing is a journey that is different for all of us. But whatever that you're doing, if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It means that that thing didn't work and you need to continue the pursuit of learning about more different protocols that may eventually be able to help you. It's all a process. Kate, you're spot on about self-harm. I used to self-harm a lot many years ago. It was because I didn't like how there were certain things in my life that I couldn't control and caused me a lot of pain. Yes, yes, yes. Hope that you're in a better place now in regards to that, Kate. And also Cloud 9 Whiskey. I'm coming to the end of the thread. I'm happy to stay another 15 minutes if you have a question to ask me. It's up to you. Again, for those who don't know me, I'm going to be on YouTube every Saturday for a couple of hours, just like that. Maybe at the moment, 6 p.m. UK time seems to be a good time. Unless I find out that there's another time that is better for everyone, just let me know. And I plan to do some long-form content on YouTube, some new ones, because the old ones are dreadful. Hopefully soon. Bear with me, please. Do follow me if you enjoy this. I do post 3 short videos every day on YouTube and on TikTok. TikTok are the newest ones. YouTube are 3-month delay, so there's still a difference in terms of content. But yeah, and I go live on TikTok as well, a couple of times a week. Mel, being neurodivergent isn't also a very interesting topic for me. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Yes. How do you handle being different to the rest of the world and fit in? Some I want to be part of the world. Okay. Very good question. You want to stop trying to fit in. You don't need to belong to everything. You just need to find your tribe. That's it. This is the mistake that we all do when we're neurodivergent. We suffer because we're trying to fit in, to be normal, to be good enough, to be like everyone else. You don't want to be like everyone else. You are not like everyone else. You're different, and it's a beautiful thing to be. You want to embrace how different you are, and you want to be surrounded by people who are like you, and people who understand who you are. So there are places where you can work who actually not only understand, but chooses to have neurodivergent people in the team because they understand that neurodivergents have different qualities that neurotypical people don't. And so don't try to fit in. Stop wasting your energy. Learn how to unmask and how to be yourself and learn how to change your environment so that at home and at work or studies, whatever that you're doing, you're surrounded by people who are understanding, who know what a neurodivergent person is, and they stop expecting them to be any different than who they are. Find out people who have empathy, compassion, emotional intelligence, education about mental health. So either people who are also neurodivergent like you, I think that we are a great bunch for the vast majority. When you are with people who are neurodivergent and everyone knows that they're neurodivergent, it's so much easier. We don't need to mask, we just are ourselves, and it's amazing. And there's a lot of places, a lot of companies, new ones, that are really embracing this. And so find them. So you don't need to fit in anymore. Don't do this. Not only no one should be doing this, but especially neurodivergent. We suffer from this. The more we mask, the more we try, the more we create stress and anxiety. Our nervous system is all over the place. It's exhausting. You know this. You want to embrace your difference. Your difference is what makes you so special and beautiful and amazing. And I really mean this. Your value will be dictated by your environment. There's a very simple analogy that we see quite often on the social media, and it goes like this. If you buy a bottle of water from the factory, maybe it's going to be, I don't know, 1p. If you buy it from a shop, maybe it's going to be £1. If you buy it from a nightclub, maybe it's going to be £10. If you buy it from a place where there's only a lot of, from a yacht with only very rich people, maybe it's going to be 100 quid, I don't know. And so the same bottle will have different values depending on its environment. Find the right tribe, the right environment, the right people for you. And so you never need to fit in anymore. You never need to mask. You're just yourself, and people, there are a lot of people, there are more than enough people in the world that can love you and accept you exactly for who you are, for you not trying to fit in anymore. You can choose to either focus all your energy and your hope and your happiness into fitting in a world that will never accept you because they're not able, they don't understand you. They will still judge you, they still believe that you are lazy or stupid or weak or whatever, instead of understanding that you have a condition that is preventing you to do those things that other people are expecting from you. Or you can just be with the right people. Okay, Mel? VKK. What do someone constant, so let me read. What do someone constant being angry and doesn't listen to anything you try to say? Okay, so let me try to translate this. Why is someone constantly angry and doesn't want to listen to anything that you try to say? Okay, so people who are angry, they're reacting, and it's their way to interact with the world. Now, it's not nice because when people are angry, we can't reason with them. We can't use logic. People are just reacting, and it's aggressive. It can be scary. It can be very unsettling. However, if you're asking me why, the why is because that's the only one thing that they know how to do in that moment. No one chooses to be angry. The illusion of controlling your emotions is rubbish. Whatever we are reacting, it's a reaction. There's no mental input, it's all emotional. And so when people are angry, it's because it's the system that they have developed over time, and that's the only system that they know how to deal with overwhelm. It's too much. They don't have access to rational intelligence. Maybe they believe that they're not able, and so they're going to use the anger to sort out the situation because they're caught in a corner. They feel that they have no other options. And so when people are angry, first you want to protect yourself. You want to create a space between you and them because you come first. After that, if you want to understand, if you want to help them, then you want to understand why they're angry. People are not angry because they're bad. People are not angry because they're inferior. People are angry because they're scared, because they're hurt, because they don't know any other system to deal with that sort of overwhelm. And I used to be angry myself because, again, borderline personality disorder, trauma, all sorts. And so I was always angry. And I hated myself for this. But I could not do anything else because I didn't know how to behave in any other way but anger. Whatever we repeat or reinforce. And so we never want to judge people who are angry. We want to protect ourselves from them. But once we've done that, if we care for them, let's say if it's someone close to you, you want to understand. Instead of telling them, calm down. If you tell someone, calm down, control yourself, what they get from you is, how you feel don't matter to me. Your fear doesn't matter to me. I don't care about how you feel. I just want you to behave. And this sucks. And people don't like this because now they're feeling, gosh, once again, no one gets me. So they're going to get more angry. What you want to do instead is to ask them, what happened to you? What gets you to utilize anger as a protection mechanism? Why can't you have access to this? Why do you believe that people are going to hurt you and the only thing that you can do is to hit back? Just bear with me, please. Sorry about that. So yes, does it make sense? Does it help at all? Now, again, anger is a huge topic. I can talk about it in great length. So it depends on many things. But the main sentiment, the main message is that people don't choose to be angry. When people say there's a space between your actions, no, there's not. There is one, but it's not available to everyone just yet. The space is available if we work on ourselves and we can find a way to actually understand some part of ourselves so that we can disarm the habits of reactivity and anger. But until we do this, when we get angry, we don't have a choice. We don't choose. We are feeling unsafe. We are protecting ourselves from danger in that moment. I hope it makes sense. Does it, VKK? Katya, I am sure you will do great. Who are you talking about? Are you talking to me or someone else? I'm going to say thank you for me or on the behalf of anyone, because I'm not sure, but it's a kind sentiment, whatever, whoever it's directed at. Amatola, can you tell me an advice, like an exercise to try to go against perfectionism and overthinking, like an exercise to accept that not everything can be in my control? Okay, I can. So I can talk about perfectionism. It's a tool that I use a lot with a lot of my clients. I used to suffer from perfectionism myself. Overthinking is a different subject, right? I'm going to address just that, and then you can ask me again for something else. What can we do about perfectionism? We want to accept and realize that whatever that you do, the more you do this, the better you'll become at it. So I can give you an example. I started to do some content creation on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, and I've been doing it for quite a while, and I had a lot of things to overcome. Again, ADHD, this and that. So I found it very difficult to focus on things, to remember things when I'm trying to do videos, and it was a whole process. But basically, I was doing videos, and I kept on thinking, this is not good enough. I need to work more on this until it's perfect. And so I thought, you know what? If I do it for 10 more times, it'll be better. But then if I do it 100 more times, it will be even better. If I do it 10,000 million times, it's going to be even better. And here's the thing, it will always get better anyway. So you might as well do it when you feel that it's wherever your time, your energy allows you. Otherwise, you're going to go mad. You're never going to stop. Accept that whatever that you do will always get better and better anyway. It's called evolution. It's a great system. And so believe that whatever you are coming up with, as long as you're doing your best, is your best, and your best is good enough. And next, the other thing that I really suggest to people is to utilize the 90% rule. So it's something that I came up with. I don't know if it's called like that, but basically, I used to suffer from perfectionism myself. So let's take again the example of the videos. I would do videos, and because of my speech, it was very difficult for me to learn how to be articulate and then pronounce things properly. And so the videos could take forever to be done. So now, what I've done, I've done it for a while now, so I'm good. It's a good system. I tell myself, I am going to choose to leave 10% of the table. I am choosing intentionally, consciously, deliberately to leave 10% because I am a perfectionist. So I know that my 90% is still better than everyone else's, or at least better than whatever I want to do. It's good enough, right? And so by choosing to deliberately leave 10%, thinking, okay, it's just 10%, or 5 if it's easier for you. But by choosing to do that now, you're letting go of a lot of pressure. And it makes everything so much easier. And this is how you can free yourself from perfectionism. Practice the 90% rules. Right? Again, I don't know if it's a thing. I just came up with that, and it works for me. And so I've been teaching that to my clients. But leave 10% of perfectionism. Accept that what you do is good enough as it is with 90%. And as you learn how to do this, everything will become much, much, much easier. And you will realize that in the end, you know what? It's just as good anyway. Perfectionism is a terrible, terrible habit to have because it's born from the belief that I am not good enough. And no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I will never be enough. And so we really, really want to nibble, to nip it. How do you say? I forgot the expression. We want to address this, to correct it. Does it help, Amatura? When it comes to overthinking, it's a whole different conversation. Ask me again and I will address this, because it depends on many, many things. Peter, thank you for answering my questions. Love your content. It helps. See you next time. Thanks again. Thank you, Peter. I'm glad that something that I said was useful to you today. And see you next. Mel, but often I'm very overwhelmed because it's absolutely not easy for meta word. How do you handle that? An overtime autistic woman by D diagnosed. So this is very fragmented. Let me try to understand. I'm often very overwhelmed. What does it mean, overwhelmed? Did you mean overwhelmed? Was it a mistyping? I'm going to assume this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Often I'm very overwhelmed because it's absolutely not easy for me. I'm going to assume me to word. How do you handle that? I know that time autistic woman by D diagnosis. So it's all very convoluted. I'm not sure what you're saying. You get overwhelmed. Let me try to remember about the context. You're being overwhelmed because you want to fit in. Yes. Okay. So yes, you will be overwhelmed if you're trying to fit into a world that was never designed for you. So don't. This is my advice to you. Stop that pursuit. Change your mindset and learn how to accept yourself. Learn to realize that there are more than enough people out there that can love you for who you are and accept you for who you are, so that you don't need to do those things anymore. Find out your tribe. Seek groups, people like you, neurodivergent, or people with the same sort of interest. It doesn't have to have the label neurodivergent, but whatever that you like. There's a lot of things that people like where you can find a lot of neurodivergent people. I'm talking about cosplay, Dungeons and Dragons, those sort of things. Lots of them, because it's sort of things that that goes often with that. It's a stereotype, it's not just that. But whatever strong, peculiar interest people have, you will find some neurodivergent people there, because this is what we do. We fixate on things that we really like. And so, yes, find your tribe and forget about the other ones. The others, they're living their own reality. You don't need to please everyone. You don't want to please everyone. You can't please everyone. If anything, you want to accept that it's okay and actually healthy not to be liked by everyone. You don't want to be liked by everyone. The right people will love you, the right people will like you, and the rest, let them be. But don't waste too much time or happiness or hope on them, because they're just different. Gosh, my hair. Cloud of whiskey. Thank you for your generous answering of people's questions, opening themselves us with very personal comments. Of course, of course. You're more than welcome to come back. This is what I do. And so, yes, thank you. Brian, is lack of common sense a sign of poor mental health? There's no such thing as common sense. Common sense is a belief. Common sense is the belief that I and the people who share the same information as me are intelligent and everyone else is stupid. It's a limiting belief. You believe that you're better than others because you have common sense. But there's no such thing as common sense. It's a belief. I understand that. I used to have it as well. But if you realize that everyone has got a different experience of life, everyone has got a different upbringing, a different education, a different culture, a different set of beliefs and values, everyone is different. How can you expect that everyone is going to believe and think the same as you, right? This is self-centeredness. Again, you don't do this on purpose, but you forgot that you're not the center of the world. Anyone who believes that there's such thing as lack of common sense, they believe that they're the center of the world. I know the truth. Everyone should think and feel and believe the same thing as me. And if they don't behave like me, they're bad, they're wrong, they're stupid. And it's just a belief. Opening our mind, being more, and our heart as well, being open-minded and open-hearted, teaches us how to understand that everyone is different. Everyone has got a different experience. There's no such thing as one universal truth. There's only our experience in this moment based on the belief that we have because of what happened to us in childhood. So we're all very different, and empathy is actually intelligence. Empathy allows us to experience things from different people's perspective, and that expands our perspective of life and everything. But if we believe that I have common sense, this is the truth, and everything is wrong, it's the opposite of intelligence. It's narrow-mindedness, and it's born from fear, the fear of being wrong. And so I must follow that system that is deemed right by some people that I look up to, and it's not right. Everyone suffers from that. And so, yeah, common sense is not, lack of common sense is not a sign of poor mental health, not at all. Believing that there's common sense is, if anything, right? It means that people are living in fear. This is right, this is wrong, and I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to change my mind because people are fearful of losing control. That's why They need to have a common sense because they're scared of losing control. What I know is what I know. Instead of, this is what I know up to this point, and I can open my mind and I can learn more. Right. I hope it makes sense. Brian. Mel, overwhelmed. Excuse my bad English. Yes, I guessed it right. Fantastic. Thank you. Ruru, speak a little bit louder and with a little bit slow speech of rate. This is me. Take it or leave it. Love me or leave me. Right? I hope that you can get something out of it. If not, I'm sorry, but this is who I am. Mel, do you do online therapy overseas? Yes, all my work is online. I used to have a physical office in London. I had to, actually. And ever since the pandemic, we found out in my profession that everything can be done on Zoom, online, and it's just as good. And so, yes, I look after people from America, from Brazil, from Singapore, from Dubai, from all over the world, Australia. And so, yes, and all over Europe. And so, if you have interest into working with me, you can find the link to my website on my YouTube videos or this live as well, and just send me an email from there. We can organize a discovery call. It's free. It's half an hour, and it's me learning how to find out if we can work together. And if we can, then we can talk about all the nitty-gritty and organize this. Right? Yeah. Ruru, I don't mean to be rude, but sometimes I can speak. You know what, Ruru? If you want to ask me something specific for you, I will make the effort to speak slower just for you. Okay? I'm happy to do this. But other than that, this is who I am. And it's important for me to express myself in whichever way comes naturally to me. I hope it makes sense. And I know that a lot of people get this right. I've been doing this for 2 years in TikTok, and everyone seems to be very happy with that. And so if you find it difficult to understand me, I'm happy to make an effort for you. Ask me something, and I will slow down just for you. Okay? Thank you. VKK, thank you so much for answering. Thank you. How to behave when someone close to you is constantly angry and throwing insults. I lose my temper after a few insults and join the same. So no, we both are insane. What practice or method should try to avoid? It's a tricky one because you have your own emotional triggers and the way and your system of reading the world, and so do they. Generally speaking, if they are like that, you want to keep away from them. If you're not able to deal with them, if it's too much for you, maybe it's easier for you to create a space between you and them. That's an option that a lot of people don't think about. Now, because with relationship is double trouble. You need to address them, their baggage, their triggers, and you need to address yours as well. And so when someone is constantly angry, what I'll do, I will create a space. Right. Now, there's something else that is just coming to my mind. Is that person a man? So again, it's a generalization, but very often what people don't realize is that some men, many men, because of the patriarchal society, because of the way society is designed, many men experience depression through anger. And so the reason why they're not showing typical signs of depression is because the typical signs of depression are more feminine kind of depression. Feeling sad, feeling non-motivated to do anything. And that's because in this society, men have been told that you cannot be vulnerable. You can't show sadness. Otherwise, you are weak. You have to be looked down on. Boys don't cry. And so what is the one emotion that men are allowed to feel in society? Anger. Because some men believe that anger is power. And so now as a result, anger has become a secondary emotion to the depression. Instead of being vulnerable, lost, out of control, and sad, we can't seek help because we've not been taught how to do that. We're going to use anger instead. And so if a man, so I don't know if it's the case, but if a man is constantly angry, it's very often a subtle sign that they actually suffer from depression. So if that's the case, you want to raise that awareness and get that person to seek therapy and help. That'll be my answer to you. Yeah. But you don't want to take it. You don't want to accept it. You don't want to let it in because you suffer from it. And you deserve to be happy and to have peace as well. So if that person is always throwing insults at you, tell them, no, F off, that's enough. Does it make sense? VKK, does it help? Amatura. Okay, thank you. Yes, it helped. Fantastic. Thank you, Amatura. Brian, ha ha ha. There you go. Brian, great response. Thank you, Brian. I'm glad you appreciate this. Thank you for not taking it personally. Mel, I'm very happy about the fact I found you and your special talent and work. Namaste. Oh, thank you so much. Namaste to you. Thank you, Mel. Pranav Sawant, how do I deal with having high expectations from myself? I think it drains me mentally a lot. Okay, so the high expectations that you have of yourself are the expectations of your parents. They somehow get into your head and they're there. They're always asking you, you're not good enough, you should try harder, you must be a high achiever, you must be very productive, you must be better than everyone, you must be the best. Otherwise, we can't be proud of you. Otherwise, you don't deserve our love. And it's a poison. So what you want to do is to realize that high expectations, they don't come from you. They come from your parents. And what you want to realize is that you are not here to live your parents' life. You're here to live your life. And so whatever your parents want from you, they come from a good place. But they forgot that you are not here to live their life. You're not here to live their dreams. You're not there to be limited by their belief, by their fear. Right? Recognize that you're here to explore what excites you, what makes you happy, what stimulates you positively. Your life is about you discovering who you are and what you are good at, as in what you love doing so much that you will become better than everyone else eventually, just by virtue of you loving that thing and doing it all the time. It's very simple. Consistency is the only one thing that makes everything better and gets to success, whatever field that you are in. So yes, high expectations change your attitude towards life, your whole mindset. Stop trying to do things to be liked. Stop to do things to prove people, look, I've got a diploma. Look, I've got a success. I've signed a deal. Your value doesn't rely on all those things. You want to reconnect with yourself and realize that you've been conditioned to live by external reward instead of listening to your internal reward. External reward is external validation. People applauding you. You are famous, you're successful, people look up to you. Internal reward, on the other hand, is what feels good, what feels inspirational, what excites you, what makes you happy, what feels right. Learn how to reconnect with that mind, your inner being inside of you, and your life will go like that. Some people may disagree with you, but remember, it's your life. You don't live for them. I did a post not long ago, and it's like that. Choose whatever is aligned with you. Don't do the things that your parents tell you to do. Because if those things don't align with you, you will suffer those choices long after they are gone. And so speak to them, tell them, I know that you love me, and I love you as well, but I'm here to live my life, and so I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a singer on Broadway, or whatever that you want. And then you will find peace and happiness, and even abundance eventually, if that's something that you invest all of your energy into eventually. Does it help, Pranav? VKK. Well, it's my wife. She's constantly angry and so many fights. Okay, so she's got a problem. Maybe she's been traumatized, but whatever it is, she has some belief that she must protect herself from the world, and that is distorting her interpretation of what you say, of what she sees, of what she's perceiving around her. So now she's reactive, she's going to get angry. She believes that anger is the only system that can keep her safe, and that's why she's getting angry. So she needs some help. Has she got some help? VKK, yes it does. Okay, fantastic. Fran, thank you for all the support and advice you have given me over the past few months. Fantastic. It really helps. Thank you so much, Fran. I'm glad. Pranav, thank you so much. Your voice is very calming. Thank you so much to you, Pranav. Carmen, from a parent's perspective, there's a lot of pressure to properly raise and educate our own children? What would be a healthy approach to that? You can choose to either get the approval from society or love your child. I would choose the child anytime. Create your own tribe. Create your own bunch of people. Do your thing. Forget about them. Right? If we're trying so hard to conform into a community, very often all the problems in life are created from that. We are trying to be someone that we're not. Look at people who are highly religious, for instance. A lot of them, so it can be Christians or Muslim or whatever, a lot of them, if they find out that their child is homosexual, for instance, LGBT, they will turn their back at them. They will ignore, they will disown their own child because they are choosing the community over their child. But as a parent, we must look after our children. A parent's job is to look after their offsprings. In nature, every species, they all do that. And so this is our priority, right? Your priority is to make sure that your kids are happy and fulfilled. It doesn't matter what they think. If what you do works for them and it also correlates with society, bingo, you're one of the few lucky ones. But you don't have to. Don't worry about what others think. Some people, some communities, if the children don't marry with someone that they want to marry, they're going to throw acid in their face, things like that. It's horrible. Why would anyone do that to their own children? Because they're so scared of being rejected by the community. They're living in fear. And so you can choose to live in fear or to live in love. Do you want to love your child? Do you want to have that special connection, to see them flourish and be the best of themselves through their lives? Or would you rather them being miserable and suffering because you want to please other people who disagree with whatever your child is? Right? Let go of the pressure. It's an illusion. There is a lot of pressure, but you can let go of it because it's not true. It's not real. You don't have to be with these people. It's a big world out there. You can change. You can move. You can meet other people. It's absolutely possible. You don't need to proper raise. The only way to proper raise is through love. Is teach them to believe in themselves. Teach them that unconditional love is available to them. They don't need to do anything to deserve love. They are just lovable just by virtue of them being them. That's all. From a therapist's perspective, trust me, this is going to be the most important thing that you can teach your kids. Learn how to accept themselves. Learn compassion, forgiveness, open-mindedness, and also imagination, excitement, inspiration. Connect with all of those things as opposed to, I must do that to conform to the right, otherwise they're going to judge me. You know what? It doesn't matter. There will always be people who are going to judge us. It's their problem. Focus on the people who will not judge you. And there are more than enough of those people for you to find peace and happiness and make sure that your kids are happy and fulfilled and ready for anything that life throws at them once they grow up. Does it help? Does it make sense, Carmen? Do you agree with that or not? Again, we're all being conditioned to believe the same things. And my job here is to raise the awareness that it doesn't have to be like that anymore. To change our life, we must change our belief. We must change what we believe about the world, about ourselves in this world, and about what we should be doing. There's nothing we have to do. There's only what we can choose to do based on how we feel about it. What do you say, guys? Amatullah, I. Okay, we have the beginning of a sentence. I'm just realizing it's 8:15. I have to say goodbye. Thank you a lot. You know what? I'm going to say goodbye as well. I just realized I'm meant to finish at 8. So I'm glad I've done 2 hours. Guys, I love you all. I'm going to go slowly. Goodbye, Amatullah. Goodbye, Carmen. Goodbye, Pranav and Fran and VKK and Brian and anyone else. Mel, Ruru, anyone who's watching in the background. I'm going to go now. I'm going to come back next Saturday, 6 o'clock. PM UK time. If you have any questions, write it down. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube if you don't already. And also, I'm on TikTok. If you use TikTok, I do also spend a lot of time there. And so that's it. Thank you for following some of my stuff. If you do, and if you need any more details about me as a therapist and coach, you may be able to find my details wherever. And that's it. Let me see. Any last comment? Carmen, I'm looking for them to have a fulfilled life. In order to get there, they need to put in some effort. No, they don't. It's not true. We can talk about it next time. Nothing comes for free. Yes, some things absolutely is, or how to support and direct in the most proper way. So those are your own beliefs. Those are the beliefs that a lot of people have. I used to have the same. And because of those beliefs, we are living in, life is hard. You must work hard. It's not true. You can absolutely be happy, and life can be simple and easy and fun. You can have a lot of success and abundance and love and prosperity. Absolutely possible. But we're coming to the end of it. I would love to talk about it, but we're running out of time. If you don't mind, Carmen, I'm going to say goodbye. Do come back and remind me if you come back next time about the conversation. And I would love to explain to you, point by point, all the belief that we need to address. It's not just belief. Again, it's not right or wrong. It's just society. We've been conditioned, and we can do something else. We can undo this. We can change. And so please, don't take it personally. I'm not attacking you. I understand. I used to have the same belief as well. I used to suffer from them like everyone else. But I would love to talk about it next time, either next week on YouTube or on TikTok. I don't know when, but I go live on TikTok twice a week in the evening. And we can ask me again. We can talk about all those things. Okay? Pranav, goodbye. It's almost 2 a.m. in India. Okay, good night to you. Thank you for being awake for that. Angie Torres, hey buddy, hello. I'm going now. Guys, I love you all. Take care. Again, write any question if you have for me next time. Bring people along if you know that they could benefit from our help. Look after yourself. Take care and be kind to yourself. Carmen, thank you. Thank you so much, Carmen. Okay, bye now. So now, how do I come out of this? Are you sure you want to stop the streaming? Yes. Bye-bye.